Happy Sunday, guys. Welcome to the MTN Sunday Roast with your host, with the most, Alex Caldwell. If anyone doesn't know me yet, my name's Alex. I'm a coach here at MTN, and today I thought I would do a solo Sunday roast by myself because I've been thinking recently about what it's like to be a guy in your 20s, or a girl in your 20s, or any gender in your 20s. That's a conversation for another time. But basically, what I wanted to cover today was the 10 best pieces of advice I feel that I've been given in my 20s, and I'd like to relay that information to you a lot. But generally, people in their 20s finding it a little bit hard to navigate right now, don't really know what they're doing. Here's 10 pieces of advice that I feel are going to improve and enrich your life as a 20 something in the 21st century. So I'm going to start off with number one here, and that is that you need to remember that everyone in their 20s is at different stages. No one is doing the same thing right now. Some of us have full-time jobs, some of us are back studying, some of us are studying for the first time, some of us have kids. I can't imagine having kids, that's terrifying, but some of us do. And I think you need to remember that looking at someone else online or looking at someone else that you know in your workplace that's at a different stage to you, that's all right. You need to try and not compare yourself to them, because I'm pretty sure that every successful person ever never actually had an awful lot of accolades and money in their 20s, and I think everyone does definitely mature at their own level. So that is definitely something to take into consideration when you're trying to compare yourself to others. Everyone's at a different stage, and that's actually all right. Number two, making mistakes and getting criticism is a good thing, because for this one simple reason: see, if you're not making any mistakes, you're not doing anything worthwhile. You could very easily get up for work in the morning, go out to work, come back home, cook your dinner, watch 2 episodes of something on the telly, and go to bed. Do you think you've made any mistakes that day? No. Would I call it a success? Kind of. But have you done anything over and above just going to work and coming back home again that you feel is actually going to develop yourself? Probably not. So it's a good chance that if you're not making any mistakes, you're not doing anything worthwhile. And I think that making mistakes needs to start being viewed as a positive. And also being happy as well that if you are someone that posts quite a lot of stuff online, post your mistakes as well. Nobody cares. And if I'm being completely honest with you, if you're someone that runs a business, or you're someone that influences, if you're an influencer, posting times where you don't look your best, or posting times where you're failing at things, it makes you seem like makes you more human, makes you more personable, and people will actually start to buy into you a little bit more there as well. Number three, now I would like to be very careful about this one, because I know firsthand how real and how debilitating real depression and real anxiety is. I know this, okay? So I'd like to just first of all preface this next point by going, I know that it is very real, and it is absolutely debilitating, and it really ruins people's lives, and I get that, okay? But knowing this and having experienced it firsthand with people that are very close to me, I do sometimes see that some people are very quick to jump to the conclusion that they have depression, have anxiety, when actually they're not doing the things that they should be doing to make sure they don't feel like that. And I think that real depression and real anxiety, you would know all about it. You really, really would. You would need medication, you would need to seek help from a doctor, you need to seek help from anyone you could get it from a therapist. A lot of us in our 20s are unfortunately very quick to jump to these conclusions and start diagnosing ourselves with depression, with anxiety, with other, mental health problems. I would like to just kind of softly challenge this by saying a lot of us are doing that without actually just doing the things that we know would actually make us feel better first. Now, I think the first one that we need to cover is that a lot of us aren't doing the things that we enjoy. So we're getting up in the morning, we're going to a job we don't like, we're coming home, we're eating rubbish, we're fueling our bodies in the wrong way, we're not drinking enough water, we're going to bed too late, we're not getting enough sleep, we're waking up too late, we're snoozing the alarm, and we're going back into a job we hate the next day. Turning around and saying that you are depressed after having done that for a long period of time might be slightly premature, and I think you need to try a few things first before you then diagnose yourself with something that for a lot of people is very real, and leading to things like they can't even get in the shower in the morning because they're that depressed. Try your best to do the things more that you value and that you enjoy and that in the long run make you feel better and that make your body feel better, before jumping to conclusions that you have bad mental health or something so bad like depression. Number 4, this is a good one. This is a really good one. So with social media becoming very popular, I think a lot of us feel like if we are in a commercial job and we're doing well and we're working our way up the ladder, that's not enough. It seems to be that social media seems to make you think that you need to be some sort of entrepreneur with a business on the side, and that you're doing Amazon e-commerce and you need to be selling all this amazing stuff online and making all this money. No one's expecting you to do that. No one's expecting you to do that. If you are happy going out to work in the morning, earning a good living, doing things that you enjoy with work, and you're happy doing that, that is more than enough, and that you're comfortable. Instagram just seems to make us think that we all need to be entrepreneurs, and TikTok's the same as well. It's like, you need to have a side hustle. You need to be selling massage guns for 80 quid on Amazon and drop shipping. And no, you don't. No, you don't. You don't need to be making up party bags for kids' parties at the weekend while you're off work. You don't need to do that either. If you feel that's something that you enjoy and you want to earn a little bit more money doing it, that's great. But you don't need to have your own business to be successful, and you certainly don't have to have a side hustle to be successful. Number 5, stop doing the bare minimum at work. I've heard of this kind of thing recently, this movement where people hate their jobs, so literally all they do all day when they go to their job is do the bare minimum. And if their boss asks them to do anything, they're like, "No, I'm not doing anything for him, he doesn't value me." Do me a favour, right? Next time you go into the job that you don't like, try for one day just going over and above. I will guarantee you will finish that day feeling more accomplished and happier within yourself for having given it a good go. I don't care if your boss doesn't care about you. Your hard work won't go unnoticed. I don't care how big your company is either. Your hard work won't go unnoticed. And it also won't go unnoticed when you do finally leave that job that you don't like and you go into another company and they can see that you've got a good reference for it. Number 6. Now is the time to try everything once. Maybe not everything. Well, that's up to you, I suppose. But I feel like your 20s is the time when we've all got the most time. And it might feel like you've not got any time, but you just wait until you're like 40 and 50, then you've got no time. Then you really have no time because you've got kids, you've got a house, you've got that, and you've got all this extra stuff to worry about. You're probably going to be higher up in your job as well, so you're probably going to have more responsibilities there. You're just going to have more things to worry about. I think a lot of us in our 20s don't think we've got much time, but really if you actually sat for a week and looked at your Google Calendar, or made a Google Calendar in the first place, and sat out all you've got to do that week and thought, do you know what, actually, I just go home every night and sit and watch 3 hours of telly and sit on TikTok all night. I could be going out and doing a salsa class. Imagine that. Imagine being good at salsa. None of your mates do that, guarantee it. Number 7, we're getting there. Number 7 is get good at having good conversations. So many of us in our 20s went through the last however many years not having a job, and then going into university. Some of us as well have actually been to university in a time where you just sat behind a webcam. And now we're getting into jobs and none of us know how to talk to anyone. And yeah, I know we know how to talk to people, but having like professional conversations and also having conversations that are going to get you further with that person, whether it be talking to somebody in a bar that you're interested in or trying to go for a job interview. So many of us are just so crap, so bad at just having like a normal conversation with anyone. The first bit of advice I could give you for this is learn to listen to the other person. You don't need to jump in with something that you can relate to them right away. Say something to someone and let them come back to you and let them feel heard. Letting someone feel heard in a conversation is actually a really, really good skill to have, and they'll actually start to like you more. They'll just like you more because they'll think, this guy's a good listener. He's interested in what I'm going to say. I'm actually going to stay longer for this conversation or this interview, or when you're at a bar talking to someone. And for you to try next time you open up a conversation with someone. So you ever, if you kind of see someone and you walk past them, and they're like, "All right, mate, how are you? Yeah, good, fine, mate. How are you? Yeah, good, thanks. Right, see you later." Done. That's the conversation over. Imagine you said just one more sentence, like just push yourself to say one more thing. Now, please don't make it the weather. That's boring. And that person will be thinking, wow, I really wish I don't bump into this person again. Try and make it more interesting. Make it a compliment to them, or ask them about something that they've done recently. You know what this person's been doing. We have social media. So say for instance someone came up to me and said, "Hi Alex, how you doing?" "Yeah mate, I'm not bad, how are you?" Yeah, good, thanks." And then it comes back to me and I say, "How did your marathon go at the weekend?" And then they start talking about it and they're like, "Oh, that's so nice. He cares." Now, you might not care, but I can guarantee after a bit of back and forth for a conversation, you both will care about what each other have to say, because you've opened up another level of the conversation that's not just terrible small talk that's always on a kind of top surface level. Number 8, let's get a bit deep here, right? Let's get slightly deep. Number 8 is it's really, really good to spend time practicing being on your own. Now, you all know that person that is just out of a relationship and then they jump into another one. And then that one doesn't work and then they jump into another one. It's not necessarily, I'm not necessarily saying this is a bad way to be, right? All I'm trying to say is that I think it's a really good skill to know that you can be happy in your own company. I can't remember who said this, but someone said that true happiness is found in the quiet moments. And if you constantly find that you have to be distracted by someone else, you're probably not very happy in yourself. Oh. Number 9, just take care of yourself. Like, just take care of yourself. This kind of relates back to what I said, at the start about you might not have bad mental health. You might just not be taking care of yourself. You definitely need to realise that you've only really got one body, and we need to kind of take care of it. And I'm all for everyone going out the weekend and having a good time. Absolutely. Like, I think before I started this, this whole sober October thing, I'd been out and had a few drinks probably every weekend for about 4 or 5 weeks. I did feel like I had a kind of a bit of an impact on my body. I wasn't feeling my best. I wasn't performing well in the gym. My appetite was strained. It was up and down each day, which means my gut probably wasn't very happy either. Remember that you have got one body, as I said before. By the time you get to your 30s, if you've spent every weekend partying, drinking, taking drugs, eating shit, not going to the gym, not moving, not stretching, if you've not done any of that stuff throughout your whole 20s, you're going to get to your 30s and you're going to feel terrible. You're going to feel absolutely terrible. You're going to feel like you're in your 40s. And you're then stuck trying to kind of backtrack things and make yourself feel better, when in fact you could have actually just kind of kept yourself chipping away, kept a good level of health throughout your 20s, and felt a lot better when you do hit your 30s. So, number 10, we've came to the end. If you made it this far, thanks very much. Like and subscribe. This is just a quote, and the quote is simply, "This too shall pass." Now, I love this quote. I love it so much that I got it tattooed on my arm. Just as a reminder every single day that even in the worst times, even when you're sitting there thinking, this is terrible, that it will get better. This too shall pass. This feeling that you're having right now will pass. This situation you're having right now will pass. On the flip side of that, I actually like to look at it the other way as well and go that even when things are going great, learn to appreciate the good times, because likely that will pass as well, and we'll probably have to go through bad times as well. But remember, guys, to get to the rainbow, you've got to first go through the rain. I've been your host, Alex Caldwell. Thanks very much for listening.